Getting the targets you want in the world of football is absolutely key because you can't really perform at your best if you are managing a team and you've not gotten all the players in that you need, because you need players that fit the system. And sometimes targets can match across different clubs. You can look for the same player that someone else is looking for. After all, you all want good footballers and there's a limited number. So you're all going to look at the same people at times. And basically, that means that sometimes you are going to miss out. And the slight issue with this is the Whites have missed out on a key target in the past few days. I think the majority of us completely missed it, and it could be quite telling of what is to come for the next coming period. But we'll get into that a little bit later. But we're going to talk about who exactly the target is, how Leeds United have missed out, why they are visibly an important part of adding to this squad, what the next steps are going to be, and how it sort of plays into wider concerns that a lot of people are having right now that I think are worth talking about. So, first up, we're going to talk about exactly who the target is, because otherwise no one else is going to really understand what's going on here. This isn't the main point of the video. The main point is the sort of wider concern narrative that I'll get into a little bit later. But it's not John Rowe, thankfully, because hopefully he's still coming to Leeds. It's arguably someone that's just as important because of the way that we play. It would have been Jordan James, the Birmingham midfielder. Not Birmingham anymore. He's gone elsewhere, probably. He's known for his box-to-box play. He's quite good at goal scoring, which is really, really important. And importantly, in addition to that, he's a very young player. I think he's about 20 years old. Plays for Wales, and he would have been absolutely ideal to sign because he would have grown and developed with Leeds United and become a very, very good footballer. But it seems like Leeds United have missed out, so I'm going to talk a little bit about how. And it was recently reported that he is going to Rennes. This was reported like 3-ish days ago at the time of recording, but I think we all completely missed it because of the John Rowe stuff. And the deal is said to be £4.3 million. He's heading off to join Glenn Kamara, which is an odd one, to be honest. Are they completely rebuilding their midfield? Are they just getting a couple of individuals? Is he going to be a squad player? I don't know. But it seems like all of our attention was on John Rowe, and that might be why he sort of slipped through the net. It's that, or he's fairly far down in our list of potential targets. But this was a move that sort of mattered, in my opinion. Because very clearly there are some midfield concerns. I was having a look again at the match against Portsmouth, and we have 3 senior midfielders, all of whom played in that match, and the structure is a little bit weird. So a lot of the time you would have Ampadu dropping in to form a sort of back 3 with the centre-backs when we were in possession, and then when we were out of possession he'd sit in front of them as sort of that conduit between the two. And then Ilya Grove would have the license to push up a lot higher, but Grove isn't super happy when he's rushing forwards, which isn't great. And Rothwell, when he came on, looked all right, but it's a question of, do you want to disrupt the Grove Ampadu thing? Because in terms of defensively, they did pretty well. And add on to that Charlie Crew is still on the young side, and we probably want more than 3 senior midfielders. That's where you start to get some issues and concerns and worries. But it's less of a thing about whether or not we know that we need a midfielder, because we know that. We know we need a midfielder, we know we need a fullback, we know we need a winger. The wider story and the wider concern is what I'm sort of making this video to talk about. Because it's not an issue of knowing who your targets are, because we know who the targets are. It's an issue of getting said targets. And the way that I've put this in my notes is that this is a warning shot. This is, look, this target was on your list, and who knows how long the list is. It could be 5 people for any position. It could be 10. It could be 2 or 3. I don't know. I'm not inside the club, so I've not got the foggiest. But one of the players that we were clearly linked with has gone to another club because we weren't able to get there quickly enough. And whilst this is just one case, and that's completely fine, that's normal, I'm of the opinion that we cannot afford to miss key targets due to inaction. So, Rowe as another example. We're looking at him and saying, right, okay, so we verbally made an approach for about £7 million. We had a conversation about interest and stuff like that. Then Marseille came in with an £8 million bid. If the end of this process comes out with Marseille signing him for £8 million, when we initially made an approach for 7 and have visibly proven that we are happy to increase the amount that we are paying for players, then I will consider that a massive mistake. And the same will apply if we're talking about left backs, and the same will apply if it continues to happen with midfielders. Because clearly that we're quite good at scouting reasonable footballers. Jordan James, very good. Rowe, very good. We apparently had a bit of a look at Sarah. I somewhat doubt that one because I feel like we wouldn't have bid 6 million quid for him. But either way, decent footballer. Harrison Burrows, who apparently we tried to make a last-minute move for, very good. Alfie Gilchrist, very good footballer. Raksaki, very good footballer. He's not officially decided his move yet either, which I find quite interesting. But if this keeps on happening, and you know me, you know that I am patient, I'm happy to say let's wait until the deadline. But importantly, we know there is a deadline here. We know that in 18 days, that transfer window shuts. And you ain't going to make any more signings after that point. And you're sort of stuck with the squad that you've got. And that means there are 18 days to at least get those 3 signings done. Probably be okay with 2, but I'd rather us cover all 3 of those positions. And it feels like we know what the list of targets is. Well, we don't, but the club does. And at this point, you sort of need to start taking action. You need to make sure that those are secured signings, because if Rowe does find himself in Ligue 1 not next season, but this season, and we're sat there without having signed a winger, or it turns out to be Jadon Anthony on a last-minute loan again, it's going to be a case of looking around like, well, why didn't we just do that a while back? And I am optimistic about the rest of this window. But having just seen the bit of news of Jordan James slip through the net, and again, I don't know how essential he was in terms of our list of priorities and targets and stuff like that. But if that continues to happen, I can see us making things significantly harder than they have to be. We have a good squad right now, without a doubt. We've got a very, very good squad. It's not the deepest, and there are very clear gaps, but we can fill those. And if we do fill those, I think we'll have a much simpler job of it this season. But if we don't, and if we wait for too long and all of our targets go elsewhere because they're like, well, Leeds haven't made a move on me yet, I might as well, then we'll effectively have shot ourselves in the foot. Because I think we are in a very good spot to invest a bit now and profit significantly next season if we go up. Even from a business point of view, the 49ers do not make a profit in the Championship at all. There is no way in hell that a conglomerate like that is making a reasonable profit in the Championship because the value of their asset shoots down. They need to get promoted as much as we do. They just need to also recognise that if you act reasonably quickly, you're going to get the targets that you want and you're going to minimise risk. And I hope that happens throughout the rest of the window. I hope that we're not left scrambling on deadline day. And ultimately, I hope it translates into results on the pitch, because that'd be quite nice to have, wouldn't it? Because then everyone can be happy. Either way, that's what I think. I think that Leeds need to start making actions fairly quickly in order to remove any risk later on. Again, still optimistic, but it's definitely a warning for us. But I also want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments down below whether or not you think we will get these moves done in time, or it'll be a little bit of a scramble at the last minute. Like the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're not yet. And yeah, hope you enjoyed. I'll see you later. Ta-ra. Seriously, how did I not even see that this deal happened? Bloody John Rowe distracting everyone. Sneaky bugger.